Greetings. For Jan, Gerke, and me, I'd like to provide you a little bit of information regarding the tour with the Masters that took place in 2017 and also give you information about our anticipated 2018 tour. The 2017 tour was well received by the community, and we had fairly decent publicity done early and repeated again in June and July. We had 6 gardens, all on the northwest side of town. The gardens had different features and different issues to help us provide great education that we'll talk about a little later. The garden hosts did a great job for the most part. We do want to emphasize that garden hosts, along with the trolley hosts, should make sure to walk around and utilize the talking points cards that are available in the garden, and we'll work on that a little bit more aggressively next year to make sure that they understand their role as volunteers. Everyone on the trolley, by the way, had a good experience. We only had 1 trolley, but everyone enjoyed it that signed up for it, so we will continue that, as you'll see later in this presentation. The demographic information that was collected included the 9 non-Caucasian and 8 children. I have to say 5 of those children were my grandkids, so that's something we could work on a little bit more aggressively as well. Plant sales were down this year. We had 120 donated and only 43 of them sold. We will have more information on how we want to proceed next year and the anticipation or plans for the 2018. Our food samples, as always, were great. We prepared for 500, and we will cut that back as we had not almost half that needed this year. We'll be able to use leftovers, though, as we did in 2017. We'll be able to use any leftovers in 2018, so not all was lost. We were able to utilize those delicious leftovers. We do want to keep looking for sites, though, for our food samples that have adequate water and provide enough space for people to mull around. Wristband sales were 267, so that gave us $1,335 for our gross income. Our tour education, as you see on this page, was very well received and varied as well. We had everything from rain gardens, which is a standard. Megan was real appreciative of the location she had this year. She was near the rain garden and could address it as the visitors came by. The chickens in the city, we reached out to about 20 people and gave them information. Composting, beekeeping, and growing tips were also areas where we had good responses and good educators in those areas. Garden design, we had great educators, but the purpose of the educational offering wasn't as potent as we would have liked it to have been, and possibly moving it to a location that's a little further away from the garden so you get less questions on the plants and more questions about how to design your own area. Aquaponics and permaculture needed to have a person stand there next to the display, or either that or there were no materials available due to the ex-Wash Blossom Farm. White Plants Fail did not have a person stand by it, nor did preserving your own produce, so that's something we'll want to revisit and have an expert available for those topics. Now let's take a look at some recommendations for our 2018 tour. Our publicity went fairly well this year. We started early in April, ran through June, and then hit it hard the first couple weeks of July till the tour. We had the good fortune of having Sargents promote our tour at their open house, and they decided on their own to sell tickets at both locations. So that is something we'll probably be able to continue again next year. We used all forms of media, everything from our bookmarks that we handed out at the farmers market to magazines, newspapers, and online resources as well. We plan to do our signage a little bit different next year, using the plexiglass stands at all the nurseries, and again, just sell at Sargents. There will be some changes with the plant sale next year. We plan on giving it a try at the garden fair that takes place early June. Be watching for more details. Angie Dallenberg will be contacting everyone with requests, as she is the coordinator for the plant sale. Thank you, Angie, for taking on the coordinatorship of this. If you were part of the tour, you know that our reception last year was a great success. Great time for all of us to get together at Squash Blossom Farm, but the cost was a little bit more than we had hoped. So we will bring the reception back to our homes and have a great location for that for next year. We'll use leftover samples again and then determine what our needs are from there as far as additional nibbles of food after the tour for the volunteers and the homeowners. Our bring a bottle, put your name in the drawing for a bottle of wine was a lot of fun as well, and we will do that as well as encourage people who would like something else to drink to bring that to the garden owner volunteer appreciation reception the day after the tour. After reviewing our expenses in comparison to our net income, we will be increasing the cost of the tour at Sargents. Both north and south. We will be charging $8 for the entire pre-sales and also the full day of the tour. So if people want to purchase their wristbands at Sargents, they'll get an $8 charge. That's mostly so we don't have to bother Sargents with changing the prices on the day of the sale. It's great that they're willing to do that for us in the first place. So we'll keep that simple for them. And then at the Smart Garden and at the tour gardens, to keep things simple for all of our volunteers, it'll be a $10 charge, free for individuals 18 and under. And we'll continue to use the trolley as well as a fun way to get around with friends. We will be discontinuing monetary gifts to the tour garden owners. Instead, we'll be giving them ceramic leaves stamped with U of M OCEMG Tour with the Masters. Date will be on the back. We also have decided to go back to having the tour map included with the directions. We could possibly use a little bit larger piece of paper if we have some space issues. But last year, as you recall, we traveled a little ways out of Rochester, going up to Squash Blossom, and that was the reason we decided not to use the map in 2017. We will maintain our tour date on the fourth Wednesday of July. And also, our last point on this slide, you'll see that we do want to address the address issues for west side of the Heinz Center where the Smart Gardens are located. We will put some extra signage on the east side of the campus to direct people to the Smart Garden area, since the address does not bring people to that east side. It directs people to the main entrance of the Heinz Center. So now it's time to reveal our gardens for 2018. We're excited to have Peace Church on our tour this year. Peace Church has a number of different gardens dealing with annuals, perennials, and native plants that are included in their rain garden. This is where our rain garden education will take place. Bill Wiktor and Elaine Case are also on tour. The education in this garden will be herbs and produce, and the food samples will be located here as well. Their garden has been featured in publications because of its very interesting and beautiful outdoor kitchen area. So this will be a fun one to share. Dr. Doug and Julia Woods are right across the street from the Wiktor Case Garden. In this garden, we will feature shade gardening and how to attract birds. And it's a garden that also has a nice water feature. Doug and Julia love entertaining outdoors, and they have also a lovely outdoor kitchen. We are glad to be able to include Kerin Marek's garden on the tour this year. Kerin, as many of you know, has a beautiful garden. The education at Kerin's garden will be dealing with a hillside, how to garden on a hillside, and her information about her water features. Our 2018 tour gardens will take place in Northeast Rochester as we continue our way around to the different quadrants of our city. Scott and Shelley Berndt have offered up their beautiful garden for us to tour. Scott and Shelley deal a lot with native plants and pollinators. Shelley is working hard to include more of those, and this actually will be our appreciation reception for volunteers and garden owners. Jan and I do want to let you know early on what our needs are for 2018. We have a need for a volunteer coordinator. The role is to keep track of the volunteer information, which is all written out in job description, and finding those individuals to fill those spots. This is not a problem, as all of you have been great to volunteer and step up for the different jobs that are needed to be filled for the tour. So if you have questions, contact me. I'd be glad to speak with you about this. If you're a new intern, you're definitely welcome to volunteer for this position. You will be working closely with me. There's plenty of information for you. Publicity assistant has been a position that's been open, and Jan and I are both available to work with whomever might be interested in stepping up to assist us with this. It's basically just submitting pre-written information to websites according to a calendar. It's all prescribed and easy position. Reception coordinator is needed for all of these positions. Any intern, we welcome you to consider helping out in this way. If you love entertaining, you'll be working with Jan and the homeowner to provide a welcoming environment for all of our volunteers and garden owners. The wristband host, garden trolley host, food sample prep people, and servers, again, are going to be positions that need to be filled. Many of you have worked in a certain area. You're welcome to sign up for that. If you want to try something new, our volunteer coordinator, once that person has been identified, will be contacting you to find out what position you'd like to do for the tour. Thank you all for all you have done to support the Master Gardener program through your support of the Tour with the Masters as we look into more options for fundraising to support all of our projects. A special thanks goes to Mary Jane McCarty for her years of assistance as a volunteer coordinator. All of you have done so much, and your passion for what we do to help promote best practices in our community is appreciated.